Yeah, so guys, today we'll be discussing um, one very important topic that has been going on, trending on social media for a while now. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the old VAR brouhaha going on, the issues, the decision making, the errors. Some people say VAR is ruining football. I don't know what you guys think, but a lot of people believe VR is ruining the beautiful game. And yeah, why was this actually introduced? It was actually to help the game be more accurate, right? But now everyone is most people are complaining it's ruining the game. But one thing I want you guys and I want our audience to know is whether we like it or not, VR has become an integral part in the game. It's here to stay, but we need to know how to make it work. And from the looks of things, I don't know. That's why I want us to discuss about it. I don't know if it can be perfect because it's still introduction of technology into the game is it's helpful, right? Most of this goal line technology and all these things has been very helpful. Um, but now the way decisions are being made with the video assistant referee can make or break a game. I mean, we've seen examples, the Liverpool game this season against what's the club again, guys? If you
Tottenham.
remember.
Tottenham.
Tottenham, yeah. It has affected Man U, it has affected Arsenal, it's affected a lot of clubs week in, week out. So my question here today, guys, is can VAR be perfect? Do you think it's something that can actually be tweaked and maybe the rules, maybe the officials, maybe the technology behind it, maybe the way things are being viewed? What do you guys think is a long-lasting solution, or do you think there's no solution? We just live with it, and as the more we live with it, the more we get used to it. So, my question for you guys today is, what's the solution, the long-lasting solution for VAR? So, who wants to go first? Ahmed, you introduce yourself first, so I'd like Akin
Yeah,
to
I'll
go
let
first.
Akin go first on this one,
Yeah,
definitely.
let's
I
hear
think
from.
probably has a lot of strong POVs on
Yeah,
this one. So let
I
him
have,
go.
Yes.
I have,
So,
I have a lot. So like I said, started following Arsenal in 1990, but actually started watching soccer in 1993, right? So I've been watching football for 30 years, and there's one constant,
mhm,
which is controversy. It's there. That is one constant over the last 30 years that I have been watching football, right? VAR is here to, at the very least, make sure that at least the right decision is made. Right? That's the whole
mhm,
essence.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I could remember uh, when I think it was Liverpool that scored against Man City and it was
mhm,
cleared off the line. There was
mhm,
no
mhm,
VAR to review
Oh
that.
yeah.
yep,
What they used to
yep,
win the league. Like different things over the years that have happened, goals that have been scored, hand of God, Messi, Maradona, all those things.
yep,
Yeah, we can come and say that it's part of the legend of the game,
mm,
but no, is it? Some people actually lost lost their achievement based on that, right? Like, oh, maybe Messi should not have won this. Maybe Maradona would have won that World Cup. Like, different things could have happened. But at the very least, VAR is coming to make sure that at least the right decision is made.
mhm,
Now, it is still prone to human error because the referee is still interpreting the rules. So
mhm.
what we need to be talking about right now is like those rules. How can we make it clearer, right? Um,
So you are
let
saying
me
it's
go
two components, like separating the technology itself from
from
the rules
the
and the
human part.
Mhm.
Yes,
interpretation.
from the rule.
Okay, yeah.
So the technology should stay because whenever we're talking about, oh, it's becoming controversial and all. Well,
Yeah.
controversy has been part of sports.
Okay, sorry to cut you. Sorry to cut you short. I agree the technology should stay, right? But the inconsistencies that comes with the technology also is something to discuss because if you look at the different leagues in the world, the way VR is being maybe the technology used in the Premier League is different from
What
the
do
one
you mean
used
by
in.
consistency?
Okay,
It's
for
the
instance,
technology,
yeah,
not the referee.
for for instance, via Liverpool versus I like using Liverpool versus Tottenham because that is my club. I was deeply affected. So Liverpool versus Tottenham. Luis Diaz, I don't know, I can't remember, probably Mo Salah or someone passed the ball to Diaz. It was clearly onside.
Mm-hmm.
Then VAR, the referee called for an offside, right? VAR viewed this particular incident, and everybody knows the way VAR works. Once you decide that it's an offside, the only right thing to do is to rule the line, right? Draw a line to show the position of the player and the ball or whatsoever. Now the line was not drawn. Line was not drawn. We had no clarity, or even in the game, we had no clarity if this was onside or offside, right? That's one
Can I ask
instance.
you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who draws the line?
Is it not meant to be the VR?
Exactly, that's his point. Like, it's still the VR as the referee,
Mm-hmm,
like in charge of the VR. We
mm-hmm.
decide whether we want to draw the line or not.
So
Do you understand?
how does okay? You mean the technology itself, like the video
The
stuff
idea
should
of
stay.
bringing
Mm-hmm,
video reviews should
mm-hmm,
stay. Let
mm-hmm.
it be there. So
Yep.
now the question is not like, when should we use it? Should we be able to
Mm-hmm,
call back? Oh, how do we interpret this?
mm-hmm,
Now, the fine print that we have to walk around, right? The
mm-hmm,
one
mm-hmm.
you're talking about with
Yeah.
the Louis Diaz one, what happened was that the referee was supposed to let that go stand and make VAR review it.
Mm-hmm,
But the officials manning the VAR room thought that the referee did that, but the referee actually
mm-hmm,
called offside. So they were supposed to say, "Oh, we've drawn the line; it's not offside." They saw it wasn't
mm-hmm,
offside, but they
mm-hmm,
just assumed that, based on what referees normally do in that situation, that goal already counted. We are only affirming that you didn't make a mistake; it counted.
mm-hmm,
So they only saw it after the game restarted. And like, "Oh, wait, he didn't call that. Oh, what just happened?" You get my point.
mm-hmm.
So it's the people, and the question now is, okay, how long would they need? I know people are really bothered about game getting stopped and all that. But
Mm-hmm.
no, the right decision, that's the main question, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
do we want that right decision to stand?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it should, just because football is a very emotional game, right? We've seen people die, when their clubs lose. We've seen it's not, this is not myth, right? It's out there. People get crazily emotional when all of this thing happens. People, maybe I should be talking about it, but people do play sport betting, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
these decisions affect more than just, oh, it's just a game. For a lot of people, it's not just a game. Some people die, different things happen. So
Yep.
let's make sure that the right decision is taken, no matter what it takes.
Okay. Yeah, 100%. I agree. I agree on that. Ahmed, let's hear from you.
Oh well, there's nothing that I wanted to say that has not been said, so I'll probably just be rehashing what you guys have said. So we have to separate, like both of you have said, we have to separate the human parts from the technology parts. Ultimately, the humans get to make the decision when VAR is used and how it's being used and how they interpret the law at times. So, having said that, I something came to my mind while you were both making your point, and it's a question that I'm posing to two of you. So, do you think we should extend the application of VAR to other decisions, say like corners, throw-ins? Because I have watched matches where a corner was wrongly given and led to a goal. Should we allow that to continue? Because that affects the outcome of the games too, and sometimes the
Mm-hmm.
outcome of competitions at large and leagues. So, do you think we should extend that? I mean, bearing in mind that Akin said earlier that a lot of people are concerned that we stop the games too frequently. So, should we be worried about stopping the game too frequently or getting the decision right? Should be the priority. And yeah, that's what
Okay,
my point of views on. Yeah.
I can go first. I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like it has to be the major decisions. Um, if a corner was given, set up your defense and defend it. Keep it moving,
It
right?
shouldn't have been a corner in the first place. That's the whole point.
I get that, right? But I feel like it's not like it shouldn't have been a goal in the first place. It should have been an offside in the first place. Those are more. Those are been a red card. Those are more decisions. Like, it happened, we have to take a decision. But now you're talking about a corner
But
that
but
now
Okay, I'll let you finish. Let me let
No,
you
I'm
finish.
saying that's not a corner
Yeah.
that, okay, if you set the defense right, you can get away from that.
Hmm.
Do you understand? Like, oh, a free kick. Oh, if you say so for me, like, okay, penalties, like it's outright go. Free kick might even be one you might want to talk about, like, okay, maybe free kicks, but it becomes a slippery slope when we start saying, oh, every single decision. He slapped his face, his yellow card, his red card. There'll be so many things. We can't do that to the game. That one I'm with them. But every major decision, like, red cards, direct goal situations, we have to look at that. Not throw-ins and corners and
But yeah, I mean, maybe throwing is I mean, maybe I'm kind of reaching on the throwing thing, but the corner thing because yeah, it's kind of
Personally,
very close. Okay, I'll let you go
yeah,
now.
personally, in my opinion, I feel like it should be applied all through the game. Reason being, reason is, for me, I like consistency, right? Once in a situation whereby, for instance, there's a match going on and a player probably uses his hand, like the ball touches hand and maybe it prevents maybe a pass from going through, and that ball rebounds to the opponent and it leads to a goal, right? VAR will check it and they'll cancel that goal, right?
yeah.
Makes sense. But what in
Mhm.
a situation whereby the same thing happens? Probably it's just the body of maybe the player cleared the ball and the referee thought it was a corner, right? And it was not actually a corner, and it leads to a goal. I believe it should be checked, no matter how. See, the game is. I don't believe the checks should be that long. The way we do it in the Premier League.
Exactly for corner kicks, especially
Yeah,
like
it's
the
not
VAR can quickly just check and say, "Oh, that's not a corner." Give it back to the
exactly.
goalkeeper. Like,
It's just something that will delay the
Mm.
match like for so long, right? It's not they're not drawing any line. They're just looking at the contact on the ball,
person
right?
that made the last contact on the ball, then
Yeah.
give it back, and
Even before the player actually takes the ball and takes it to the corner line where it's going to kick it, they can check these things, right? So for me, I want to actually I stand with consistency. Throw-ins, I don't believe throw-ins shouldn't be. It's not a big deal. Goals goals
what if
early.
the throw is very close to the corner, like the corner kick spot? I
Then you
mean,
need a
what's the
player.
difference?
Then
And you have somebody like a Rory Delap that can throw into the.
exactly. I was about saying. I was about saying that you need a player like Delap, right? In a situation whereby you have Delap, right? Then that's another problem. But yeah,
It's not really a slippery slope, right? Like, if you just start saying, oh, every single thing,
Then
then
where
you're
does it
just
end, right?
it's loses, the sport. Like, we've seen games that became
the
very close.
excitement, right?
Yeah, the excitement will drop.
Yeah,
So
I
let's say
agree.
the major things, but let's make sure that you understand what the major things are, right? The
Okay,
corner
now,
touch, about yes, but you're not saying, "Oh, not
Ake,
showing." No,
I'm
for me,
Ake, I'm going to bring you back to one of the things you said earlier, where you said this beautiful game, is an emotional game.
mm-hmm,
There are so many things tied to it. For
mm-hmm,
instance, you play sports betting. I'm just saying, let's say you play sports betting. You staked about $40,000 on a particular team, and a VAR error, maybe a corner that is not meant to a corner leads to a goal, right? And they probably say, okay, fine, it's a goal. Don't you think this particular decision they have also made can actually let that guy probably just go and commit suicide or something because of that particular decision? I'm just trying to
yeah,
say that this particular thing also it still affects the game in a negative way. When these decisions are okay, fine. It means that means we are sacrificing maybe people's lives, emotions for the entertainment of the game. So are we saying people should not bet on games anymore, or are we
No, well,
saying people should?
we are not endorsing
Mhm,
betting or whatever. Like,
mhm,
it's not.
mhm.
So it's just like painting a scenario, giving like an example of the downstream effects of these
Yep,
decisions being made in
yep.
VAR rules. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm,
well, so let me ask you what me I'm saying, right?
mhm.
I don't think I can, or anybody can walk down the street and be like, ah, I lost that game just because they gave them that tree. Come on. Nobody's
It
going to
could
say
be
that.
a
when you
reason.
when you
Like, it
have
could
a,
be a
when you have a
genuine reason.
delap, wait, when you have a
Nobody's going
delap,
to say
okay,
that.
for instance, in
Like,
a
you can
situation where
literally
you
throw
have
the
delap,
ball from the throwing line and somebody heads it into the goal. That could happen. Like that's like a direct
You
impact
know
on the
My
what?
game.
point, no, that's what I'm saying. My point is that, and I say that, oh, I really didn't hear that from. But there's a lot of other things I'm going to put on my own team. Like, why should Rory Della be able to throw from there and you guys don't
Mm-hmm.
clear it?
Mm.
Why are you allowing the throw from there and straight? Why is that guy free?
I mean,
Whenever I see that corner, why is the keeper not coming
we
up
could
to
say
take
the
that
same thing
ball?
about free kicks and penalties also. Like, oh, why did
Why
somebody
why
in the
why
wall
why didn't they
block
jump?
it? Why did the keeper
No,
save
no,
the
no, 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 no,
penalty?
no,
Like,
no,
Why
no,
didn't
no,
they jump?
no.
okay,
Wait, let's talk about what VAR will do with penalties. I don't
okay.
want us to mix ahead. So we're talking about situations where, oh, someone dove, right? There was a dive, they gave penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, I don't know if you see him. I was still watching one Ronaldo highlight, yes. No Ronaldo, but I think, yeah, Ronaldo highlight. Someone made a video around how it's been unfair to him. And there was one Suarez dive.
Mm.
Watching it was annoying me. Like watching that replay, I think it was about, probably 8 years ago or something. I was getting annoyed by just watching it. So if you think about what VAR will come into
Mm-hmm.
play, like it's just kind of like, oh, arm balls, oh, what's natural position, all those kind of things. It's not gonna be, throwing. A lot of things would have happened between those points, right? Look at what game was that? I think it was a Real Madrid game. I think was it at Beloa? That the defense was still they had a free kick, everyone was just scrambling around, and he just kicked it. And the referee was like, oh yeah, he scored. If there was VAR would look at it because he kicked that ball, the ball was slightly still rolling before he kicked it. So those are the key things I'm talking about. We're not gonna go I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole of just saying every single thing that happens on the pitch, we bring it back, we talk about it, we bring it back. We can now say maybe the last 10 minutes of the game, maybe there's a rule like in basketball, there used to be a rule like that, like okay, last 2 minutes, everything you check, just so that it's critical. I don't know. But I feel like if they do that, teams are going to find a way to milk it to just run that time all the way. You understand? So
Mm-hmm.
me, my own is every single decision, every major decision in a game, VAR should look at it, should be able to call back and say, okay, no, 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 this can't happen. No, let's come back. Like Liverpool's game, for example, they should be able to come back and say, we made a mistake. It's a goal. Let's start. Whatever time extra we play, we'll have it at the end of the time.
You know,
100%.
you know.
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just going to maybe if this rounds up the conversation, fine. So I was just going to say as supporter of a club that has been at the receiving end of a lot of
We have not been
defeats.
receiving
No, I'm
it.
not saying VAR decisions. I'm going to say like defeats
Mm-hmm.
in games. So
Mm-hmm.
I know how these things can impact the weaker teams, right? So if you're playing against a team that has players that are very good in the air, conceding a conceding a corner kick against them is like conceding a penalty because they'll probably score it. The chance that they will score it, the chances are very high. I'm just
No,
telling you
no,
that.
no,
Yeah.
come on. Do you see
Okay,
the thing?
that's the way I'm looking at it. That there are clubs that are just
Luton and Sheffield United. You played Sheffield yesterday. Was that easy?
One
Not
no,
thing.
easy.
no, but it was easy against Newcastle. Man United was just not very good.
No, but the point is, it's a Premier League team. It's not.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's agree, right? Like if you're going by saying strong team and weak team, the weak team is supposed to lose.
No,
So,
what I'm
and it's
saying is, I'm not talking about weak in terms of whether they are top of the table or bottom of the table. I'm talking about their strength in set pieces, for example. So there are teams that are. I mean, we remember when Arsenal used to play Stoke back in the in the early 2000s, playing Stoke teams like West Brom or
Mm-hmm.
like they just
Arsenal's fault. The team
Guys, g-
controlling.
guys. One thing came to my mind now that I also want
okay.
to kind of ask. Fine, we've talked about VAR and the decision making, right? Now, we've not actually mentioned what are the possible solutions to this thing. We've actually identified the problem, right? Let me give you an example also that happened recently. Like you guys know, I'll use Liverpool as an example. The beginning of this season, McAllister, Liverpool midfielder, was sent off for a tackle. I don't know, maybe a straight red card actually, and VAR reviewed that and awarded a red card. And after the game, the red card was overturned. Right now, like why they checked this particular thing and they said, okay, it's a red card. Now, how can these things be curbed? Should there be like a panel of more video assistant referees, experienced referees that maybe these things are looking at these things also real time, probably not on the pitch, but have this technology set up probably in different parts of the world that can give decisions, maybe a vote on whatever this. I'm just thinking, right? Because it doesn't make sense whereby because the red card, the decision actually made the game imbalanced, right? They had more players and Liverpool was made to play. I think we had two red cards in that game. One other red card for maybe Diogo Jota or something that was sent off. The first offense where he got the yellow card was not actually a yellow card. The guy dived and they gave him a yellow card, right? So there are these things are things that can be discussed. So I'm thinking, do you think what are the possible solutions we think that the Premier League or the footballing body can come up with that can actually curb some of these things? It doesn't make sense whereby you give a club a red card in the first half and it's kind of um, mess up the balance and the flow of the game. So what do you guys think? Now we're talking about solutions, possible solutions.
I mean, I can go first.
Yeah,
Like,
sure, go ahead.
call me someone that likes to rule with an iron fist, but I think there has to be consequences for referees too for making those bad decisions. Like, they just get away with it every time they make these bad decisions. It doesn't seem like there's enough consequence when someone makes a decision that leads to a team losing a game, for example, or contributes to them losing the game. That's first. There has to be consequence. Then the rules have to be very clear. Like, there shouldn't be ambiguity in rules. And when I say that, there needs to be consistency across leagues also. Because these
Mm-hmm.
referees, you have a referee in the Premier League that is being told, like, okay, when a player is very close to the action and the ball is his hand, then it's not a penalty. But in the Champions League, they tell him something different. Sometimes it might, I don't know, these things might get blurred in their head and they make wrong decisions. So the rules have to be consistent across different leagues. I don't know how we want to achieve that, but I think that's doable. Then for referees, there must be consequences for making those wrong decisions. The reason why we have VAR is to correct the on-field mistakes. So we can't be introducing other mistakes when you have the luxury of the time to check and recheck to make these decisions. So that's what I'm going to propose. Yeah, it might sound draconian, but I think that's the way I'm looking at it.
So if I hear you right, sorry, I can before you go. If I hear you right, so your solution is number one, the rules have to be consistent across all leagues, and number two, there has to be consequences for referees. When you
Yeah,
say consequences, probably fines, bans, suspension, and things
ban
like that, right?
suspensions, yeah, like, and
Okay,
maybe
all
up
right, all
to
right.
losing their job, depending on whether you're a repeat offender or something
Mhm.
like that. So,
Yeah, just for the clarity of our audience,
yeah,
yeah, that's why I want to ask.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, Akin.
Yeah, okay, for me, the rules being the same across leagues, I don't know if that's possible, right?
Mhm.
In sports generally, if
I said it's not possible. Or are we going to do that? Will they do
no,
it?
Mm,
That's the question.
that's the meaning of the possibility I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, every country has an autonomy, right?
mhm.
Especially with the leagues, right? UEFA can even say whatever is going on at the World Cup level is different, right? They can make some tweaks and all that. What I think will probably work is that don't let on-field referees, the main referees, don't let them be the VAR guys,
So what do you want
right?
to propose? What are you proposing?
No, let them be like some associate referees that know the rules for this game, right? So like the Premier League, the sort of associate referees, not Oliver, not Anthony Taylor, not any of them at any particular time. Just normal guys that just know the rules and they're looking at it in real time, and now those one can advise you better. Because what I'm seeing, what I think, if I'm trying to put myself in that room and trying to see what is going on, is like it's supposed to be an easy job, right? Like it's supposed to be like the way we are looking at TV, right? So, and I know that based on the experience I've had in life, like, when you have a very simple job, sometimes you forget the effects. That even though the job is simple, the
Mhm.
effect can be very massive. So maybe the guy is just there like, oh, it's offside. Let's go. Like I don't want to be on the field running. I'm here sitting down one monitor and I'm making a quick decision and I'm moving
Mhm.
along with it. Things about if it's like associate referees that they are not major guys. They are no ego, nothing. They probably do that. And because I've seen it happen, even in workplaces, right? They probably do that more like, this is my job. This is what I've been created to do. It's not until it's no, no, no. This is my job. I'm looking at it. I'm checking. I need to make sure that this celebrity or this or boss that I'm trying to give this information to is correct. Do you understand? So I look at it keenly. For
Mhm.
me, I think that would be what will solve this
The
human
problem.
error.
Do you think
Yeah.
it will help if you get ex players involved also, like having an ex player in the room?
I'm sure actually I see people that are like, what is this person talking about?
Yeah, so
I mean, it's
that
games,
that's a
man.
that's actually a good question. What you just said now was one question I wanted to use to wrap up this conversation is you've been watching this game for 30 years plus. Ahmed, likewise, you've been watching it for a very
No plus, just 30 years. Remove the four. It's
you've been okay, 30 years, you're watching this game for 30 years. Likewise, Ahmed, you've been watching it for a very long time. Looking back at the games, Korea, Japan 2020, 2002, France 98, Champions, like previous tournaments that you watched, and comparing it to what the game is right now. Like, what are you seeing? D- do you feel like the excitement has been lost in a way? What are the slight differences you see? Do you think the game is even okay without VAR? Do you think VAR is even making it more complicated? I just want to know, based on your own opinion, then we can just wrap up this conversation and we can move on to the next thing.
well, I can go first.
Yeah,
If the topic is about refereeing,
yep,
the refereeing is as bad as it's ever been. You know, it's
that is,
there's no we've had bad referees from time, and that's why every time remember the Italian Colina,
yep,
the
Pellegrini,
minute
yep,
he was so good. It has always been difficult finding good referees.
yeah,
And I understand. I know I've tried my own share of trying to referee games. It's not easy, right? It's
mhm,
actually not. You miss something, and unfortunately, most players lie, right? So it's good for
mhm,
you to believe what they are saying and try and use it. And there's a linesman on this side that is supposed to see what is happening at the other end. Yeah, like so the way the OT is structured, refereeing is going to be as bad as it has always been, right? But I feel like the VAR has helped a little bit with the controversies. There are still controversies, but now you're talking about, oh, that Liverpool game, oh, this
mhm,
game, oh, the
mhm,
touching of the rules. But back in the day, if you can remember, every single week, there used to be a thing that, oh, Premier League referees are the worst in the world.
yep.
Like
I still
every
believe, I still believe so. I still believe that it was in the world.
but what I'm saying is that I think the
Mhm,
VAR is allowing them to clean some of those errors.
yep,
Yeah. Right
yep,
now, the one you're talking about with Liverpool now, we are not blaming the referee.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
blaming
yeah,
the referee a little bit anyway, but we
yeah,
are blaming more of the VAR, not the
yeah,
referee.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, the majority of the issues we are having is how can we make those guys behind the videos better? The referees
Mm,
are something now
mhm.
just because of the way the game is set up.
All right.
But if it's the play, then that's another
Yeah.
conversation. I can tell you about that one later.
Okay.
In the referee part, the refereeing is
Hmm.
still the same. The VAR just helped to kind of clean up some of the errors that they typically make.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ahmed.
so
What
so
do you
what I
think?
just want to add on top of what Aki has said is, yeah, I mean, I agree totally that officiating has always been terrible here, but I think VR has done a decent job in reducing the number of mistakes and errors that we have in games. I mean, I still remember you mentioned Korea Japan World Cup. I think it was
Mhm,
South Korea versus Spain, that two goals that were disallowed for
mhm,
Korea, for South Korea. I think they said the ball
mhm,
already crossed the line, and from replays we
mhm.
saw that the balls did not cross the line. So that could have been they could have gone all the way to the finals, and
Yep.
because of that they lost the game. And so yeah, we've seen. Okay, I remember Nigeria's match. It was a penalty shootout against Cameroon,
Yeah,
like
Cameroon.
Nations Cup final. The
Is it
penalty
the
actually
Kweba one?
crossed the line.
Is
Victor
it the
Ekweba. Yeah, the
Victor
ball
Kweba?
actually
Yeah, yeah.
crossed the line, but
Mhm.
I think it was even Kano, right? I think Kano
Which
with
Kweba?
two.
no, I think it was Victor. This one was
Yeah.
Victor Ekweba. Yeah,
There, there was a
the one that
Kano
hit the
one too.
crossbar, then
There was a Kano one too. Yeah, I
yeah, there
remember
was
that
a
one. There was a
different
Kano
one
one.
for Kano, but this one was a
Yeah,
final. Victor Ekweba. The ball
yeah.
crossed the line, and there was no goal line technology. There was no VAR, nothing to check for
Mhm,
us, and we lost the final because of that. So I think they've
mhm,
been like we can't say VAR has been all bad. No, it's not all doom and gloom.
mhm.
It's done a lot of good job, but we just need to find a way to be consistent in the rules, the interpretation, and where and when do we want to use VAR. So that's my own submission on this.
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, I mean, we've discussed a whole lot on this episode. We've discussed about the problems of VAR, the possible solutions, um, what the future holds for the game going forward. We've compared football in the past to what we have now. And from you guys rightly said, things are actually better now because I could remember a few years ago there was a referee called Ovrebo. He had a very big. he was he was
That Balak almost beat, right?
yeah. So I remember that guy and pictures pictures of him and the scenes where Balak was chasing him on the pitch keeps coming in my head most times. So yeah, I mean we're at good times now. We just want the consistency to we just want to be more consistency and also like you guys said, if it's possible for the rules um to be more defined where referees across different leagues understand that this is what is meant to be done when the player's shoulder is above the line, when it's behind the line, things like that. Little things like that are things that actually because it can be relative, right? Someone can say, I don't think this is actually an offside. I mean, it's as bad as people's. I remember last season, Firmino, maybe elbow or something. I don't know. I can't remember. Like people bring up different things. So yeah, I think it's safe. Is this a safe place to kind of wrap up this conversation? I appreciate you guys for all your contribution, and I wish you guys all the best in the next game week. Who are you guys playing next game week?
I'm playing City, Manchester City.
So let me ask you a quick question
It's a
before I
derby,
ask
man.
Akin who before I ask Akin who they're playing. So Manchester United, Man City.
Yeah.
Give us a prediction. Prediction. What do you think is gonna goal scoring predictions? 2-1, 1-0, 4-0. What do you think?
Um, I would say a 2-2 draw.
You are even scared to. You are scared to mention the 2-2.
Why? Like, okay, straight face, two goals
Yeah,
apiece. Yeah, 2-2.
2-2. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who's playing home?
Who's at home? Yeah.
Yeah, who's playing home?
Um, like that, I'm not really sure. I think it's okay. Our last game was away, so it might be home for us. I think it's Old Trafford. Yeah, I think it's Old Trafford.
Hot take. Man, you will win.
Oh
Man
wow.
U. Okay. Akin, how many goals? 2-0, 1-0. What do you think? Just
Ah,
pretty.
I don't care about the goal. I don't know. I'm just
Mm,
going Man U will win. And I keep saying it. I
mm,
had the same thing when we were going to play Arsenal. Maybe when Rodri is back now. Kevin De Bruyne and the rest
Right.
comes back.
yeah.
I just don't feel that they have enough personnel this year. I might be wrong eventually. This is Man City, right? January is coming. We don't know
Everybody's
what's gonna
slow starters, They can be slow
Bro,
starters. Yeah.
I have a question for you. Even with Onana behind the sticks against Alan, you believe Man U is gonna win?
Oh, I didn't, I didn't Oh my God, I
I'm
didn't think about
not
that.
going to say anything about that
Uh,
because that's a whole lot of conversation. Of like it messes with
And
my
that's
head
no
every time.
point. I'm not going to win. So
So I don't want to
yeah.
say anything about that. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so
I'm
much.
playing Sheffield, so
Oh yeah,
I need
sorry, I didn't. Sheffield.
yeah,
Hmm.
I'm playing Sheffield United, so I need Man U to win so that I can,
Oh,
go
that's
above.
why you're supporting my United now, right?
Why?
So
Come on.
I'm 100. No, don't let me say 100%. I am 90% sure Arsenal is gonna win that game. Like these guys are,
We should
they're
win.
playing a different type of football. Like I
You're
don't
talking
know.
about
Like
Sheffield, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they
Yeah,
have only
Sheffield.
one
Yeah.
point from the season so far. So that's their record from 2021. So they're
And
winning.
last time, no, I don't know. I'll be shocked if we don't win the house.
Exactly. So
No, no, literally, if we lose this game, I'm calling the season. That's
But
you
no,
say
okay, I'm actually jealous of Arsenal that though we play we don't play a similar type of football, but you guys play this kind of glossy football, like it's so attractive, like
yeah,
Odegaard, Saka, like the way
yeah,
the ball moves around. I mean,
yeah.
Arteta is doing a great job, I must agree. But I
we know what
mean,
you're talking about.
hopefully,
So
hopefully ETH
But
would
we
it's
just
not
go to the field that we play. Get to the
my
field,
only
boy. It's
fear
do me
is
proud.
one that that's not me. My only fear is that
Mhm,
I'm scared that Arteta might be a good coach,
mhm,
right? I'm not a good manager, right?
mhm,
His in-game management sometimes scares me, right? So it's like, okay, maybe he knows how to get these guys to play well, but when
mhm,
it comes to crunch time, where people have to think about, I have the same problem with Guardiola too. Just that Guardiola perfected his own style of play. That once he has players that can execute it, there's no error for, there's no what do you call it, margin for error. So they
mhm,
beat everybody in their way, right? Arsenal, we don't have that kind of players yet, right? We have all these guys that can really play, and I'm not sure whether the tactical acumen of Teta is at that level yet. I'm waiting to see it, right? But there's some things he tries that I'm like, the last game, what could be the possible reason, right? Why Jorginho is starting over Partey, unless there's a fight, unless he's fighting with Partey. There's
mhm,
no tactical reason that you can explain to anybody.
mhm,
You understand? So those are the kind of things that scares me a little bit. Against Man City, I gave him an excuse, which was like, okay, well, they were trying to keep it compact and wait till, last 15 minutes, then let's try and go
mhm.
and get a goal. But
I think every coach does that, but I think that we should just wrap it up here. And because I have the same problem with our own Dutch Dutch
What did you
Pep
call him?
Guardiola that we have here. Like really, he plays player in wrong positions all the time, and I don't know why he's so obsessed with that. You brought in Amrabat, he was playing two. He took what's his name? He took
we should now, right?
sorry,
I'm a
yes, back to the midfield because we had a player injured in the midfield, so that's why I brought him back. It took that to happen before he started playing him in the right position. So obsessed with playing Bruno on the right. Why? When you can play him in the midfield, he does excellently well for Portugal in that position. Why are you playing players out of
this
position?
this
Guys,
Dutch
guys.
that he said, it reminded me of one Instagram post from BR when they said Guardiola bought Haaland, then Ten Hag went to make up his own
Oh, Ojul on the right.
avian to get Rasmus. Like, Guardiola. Okay,
No, but
now.
Oh, good.
I think I was just speaking on what you said about Mateta. I think he's a young coach. He's gonna get better. Like there's still many parts of his game
I hope so.
that he needs to work on. I mean,
I hope so.
even
I hope he's not Graham Potter. So
oh no. Graham
I
Potter is
No, Graham Potter
I
was with a small club
I
that
mean
went to a big club, so
that's what
with the
the
pressure
didn't
is
have
crazier.
anything. I don't have
this
anyone who won FA Cup. So
De Zerbi in Brighton right now. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, De Zerbi, the next club that should get him." I mean, he might just end up like Potter also. Like,
yeah,
The
no,
pressure
right?
is
yeah,
different at those big clubs, so
yep,
forget it.
yep,
Every single manager starts from a small club or a
Mhm.
yep.
small team. So the
Yep.
point is now we have to figure out which ones can translate that. Mourinho did, Ferguson did, Wenger did, Guardiola from
Charles
Man City.
Zidane.
Oh, Zidane started
Oh,
straight from the top, right?
what do you mean? You've not mentioned Jurgen Klopp yet. Why is Klopp not on that list?
Yeah, Klopp did.
Yeah,
Klopp
yeah,
did.
no, yeah. Yeah.
Klopp just has this 3.5 issue that even though
Bro,
it's looking
we'll
like he's
discuss. I want us to
now.
discuss that particular thing. I didn't know if it's a club course. Maybe some other time. Like he has this year
Okay, let's
thing.
all that time.
After 3 years, it goes off. But yeah, I mean, thanks, guys.
I prefer
Yeah.
not to speak. Yeah.